Hey, what is up guys, MKBHD here, and every few months we get another awesome new flagship phone with, high-end specs, great hardware, baller set of features, and we love it. We love it when these new high-end phones come out. That's always great. But then sometimes, a couple of weeks later, we'll see this prime version of the phone. Sometimes it's a rumor, sometimes it actually comes out with a slightly improved feature set, slightly better specs, and you gotta wonder, what does that mean? Should we pay attention to these? Are we getting screwed over? This is those prime phones explained. Alright, so check this out. This is the Samsung Galaxy S5. Great specs, high-end Android phone from Samsung that we all know. Basically all of their best parts. And this is the Samsung Galaxy S5 Prime, or the LTEA version of the Galaxy S5. So from the outside, you can barely really tell any difference. They're the same dimensions, same materials, and all the same parts. So no metal build or anything like that. But the Prime has an LTEA logo on the back, and it also has a gold trim everywhere, where the regular Galaxy S5 had a silver trim. Again, not a different material or anything, just a different color trim. So the real difference really between these two phones is all with the specs. Instead of a regular Galaxy S5's 5.1-inch 1080p display, this version has a 5.1-inch 2560 by 1440 display, a big, bright, beautiful 2.5K OLED display, even sharper than the LG G3s. So a really impressive panel, and inside it goes from a Snapdragon 801 to a Snapdragon 805, and goes from 2 gigs of RAM to 3 gigs of RAM. It also contains a new LTE modem that supports LTE Advanced, or what we call Category 6 LTE, and this is actually the main purpose of the existence of this device at all. It's on the back, it's on the box. In the US and most LTE markets, we have Category 4 LTE. Most carriers max out with this at about 75 megabits per second tops, but the limit of the technology is 150 megabits per second. That's pretty fast, but this LTEA, Galaxy S5, moves up to the Category 6 LTE, or Cat 6, and it's made specifically for one market in South Korea where SK Telecom is rolling out their advanced LTE network. Their speeds are now 225 megabits per second, and the technology maxes out at 300 megabits per second. So it's a new phone specifically for this South Korea market with this South Korean carrier in an area where LTEA is just now rolling out. Hardly a new phone at all, but yes, still different. Now, could Samsung have released this Galaxy S5 everywhere with LTEA and a 2.5K display and Snapdragon 805? Yes, but that would have pissed off a lot of current Galaxy S5 owners, and LTEA really isn't available much of anywhere yet. But really, Samsung always releases multiple versions of their Galaxy phone with certain variances over the course of the year. They do this every time, so think of this as another one of them. They have the Galaxy S5 Active, the Galaxy S5 Zoom, the Galaxy S5 Mini, and now the Galaxy S5 LTEA. It's a sidestep variant for a specific market. Here's another example. This is the LG G3 that we all know. It already has a 2.5K display. It already has a baller display pretty much everywhere and high-end specs. Here in gold is the LG G3 Prime. Of course, not the official name. It's really the LG G3 Cat 6 version. Sound familiar? So now the only difference here is, again, just on the inside. So it's same screen, same build, basically same phone in every other way, but with a Snapdragon 805 and 3 gigs of RAM and Category 6 LTE support. Oh, and for some reason, a lot of bloatware. Koreans, I guess, don't mind bloatware. But so you can think of these phones as sidesteps to their flagship brothers. They're not sold in the United States. You won't find them in a carrier store or anything. But they're actually pretty hard to get. You actually have to go to a specialty site that carries stuff like this. These Prime phones came from 28mobile.com. In fact, I'll leave a link for each of them below the like button if you want to check them out. But really, if you're going to import these, you're not going to be able to take advantage of LTEA, so I guess if you're desperate for a 2.5K display on your Galaxy S5, or you absolutely must have the beefier Snapdragon 805 chip or an extra gig of RAM, then sure, I guess these Prime phones are for you. Also, fun fact, there were some rumors of an HTC One M8 Prime, and the plans were actually leaked not with only new specs, but with a new design and a new camera, but then those plans quickly died. That would have been the first Prime phone to actually change almost everything and basically make it a new phone altogether. But since that never happened, there you have it. The Prime phones are sidesteps. So that's been it. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, feel free to hit that thumbs up button below or share it with other people who you think might be curious about these Prime phones. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.